That's what happened. She hit the deck, and I mean, her screams were like, I'll never forget it. I, she was screaming for her mom. Her mom couldn't get there fast enough. I threw my body on top of hers. My sister was sitting up, like she's down, but her head's up. I'm screaming for her to put her head down. And then we laid our bodies flat on top of her, and I started putting chairs over us.
Oh, God bless you.
And then the mother, like, snake crawled over to us, and she was holding her daughter's hand, but that was very gut wrenching for that overall.
Jonathan, so you could just tell us a bit, why are you here today?
To talk about what happened at the Trump rally, and there's a lot of differences that I noticed from the last Trump rally and Butler from this Trump
I
rally.
did that one too.
Yep. And just about everything about Trump, everything that the media lies about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start off, can you just tell me about your experience at that Trump rally? Whatever you want to share. If you want to talk about the differences between
It was
last
a
time,
hot day.
It was a hot day.
Extremely hot. Our friend John got there first. So
And thank God for that.
he got
From
there
what
first.
he
He
said.
got the seat right in front.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when we first sat down, when my sister and I first sat down, I noticed that at the other Trump rally, I was right by the Secret Service at the former one in Butler 4 years prior, and they were everywhere. Okay, I mean literally everywhere.
They were.
They were on every rooftop.
Yep.
I mean, they were everywhere. As far as the eye could see, there were Secret Service everywhere. I noticed when I told her, so I only see two to this side of me. I said, but they're usually on every building.
Yep.
I said, that's extremely weird. I said, but also this is a different location.
Yep.
So I didn't know if something was different. I did notice that. And then another thing that threw me off was, okay, in the seats in front of us, they had reserve signs. Okay? Mm-hmm. But then in our seats, in the seats to the back, I noticed somebody through like Secret Service or one of them were trying to get us all to move.
Okay.
Did John tell you that?
No. Well, he did say that they wanted you guys to sit up in the bleachers, or.
Well, we were about to sit right. We thought he was in the bleachers. So.
Well, and that's why because he told me, thankfully, because he said he was going to sit right where Corey was. And basically, he got the black chairs, and you guys got lost in the crowd or something.
Yes,
and basically, you couldn't find him, and then when you did, he said, no, come here.
Well, we had been sitting there for a good amount of time. And he had been sitting there for an hour prior to that. And somebody was coming around where the seats were not reserved, trying to get us all to, move. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know.
Now, were you guys in the bleachers at that point?
No, we were in the chairs. We were in the chairs.
Okay.
So I didn't know what that was about. But then people started saying, we've been sitting here all day. You think we're moving now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it was unfortunate.
They did keep everybody provided with water.
They were chucking them.
Now, sometimes they were quite warm. Like, I swear, some of them, it was like I could taste the plastic.
It was, but we had water. I was pouring it all down them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just remember waiting, and then he came on, and I remember the flag. Do you remember the flag?
Yep.
And looking back, how it really looked like an angel.
Jonathan said, were you the one that said that?
Yeah, it literally looked like angel of Jesus, something. It just looked, and it was crazy, and then they fixed it. But just, that was amazing that afterwards that would be what was done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I believe there's no, I don't believe in coincidences.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. So I think that was a sign. Look, I think that was a sign.
Yeah.
Like, let us know, like,
You're
I don't
okay.
know afterwards, but everything would be okay. But whenever he came on, it was so exciting, and I'm answering him through my phone. I don't know if you can hear me. He's talking, I'm answering him, like he can even hear me. But and it just went real fast. I don't know. It was just crazy. I looked at my sister, and she looked at me, and we hit the ground. But there was a little, I think she was about 18, 19 years old. She came over by us. Her mother was up here, like 2 rows or a row ahead of us, all over. Mm-hmm. But we had a clear line Trump. So she came over to see him. And when that started happening, she was projecting. I mean, her screams were like, I'll never forget it. She was screaming for her mom. Her mom couldn't get there fast enough. I threw my body on top of hers. My sister is sitting up, like she's down, but her head's up. I'm screaming for her to put her head down. And then we laid our bodies flat on top of her, and I started putting chairs over us.
Oh, God bless you.
And then the mother, like, snake crawled over to us, and she was holding her daughter's hand, but that was very gut-wrenching for that overall.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'll never forget her scream. Maybe that's why I come to the USA. I couldn't hear it. I didn't hear people scream in the USA. And then afterwards, I think people were confused. I think they thought they had this shooter that I think people were confused. I know my sister was one of them. She's up on a chair. I'm telling her, get down. What are you doing? Yeah. But I think they were confused. I've seen them. You've seen them. I want to say it was Corey's body was hanging out.
Yeah.
And the ER physician, and then the other two guys that were laying up there, I've seen another one.
Well, they were giving him CPR for a bit.
Yeah. I think he was already gone, but there were still people up there laying in the bleachers. You can see him on my videos. I don't know if one of them were the ones that also got shot. I'm not sure. It was very traumatic.
Oh, yeah. I was nowhere near as close as you guys. It was traumatic for us, so I can...
And, you know, what makes me laugh is, you know, I'm going to say some supporters of the Republican Party, we don't go out and cause chaos after crazy things erupt, even when people are doing everything in their power to try to. But if that had been the tables turned, it would have turned into mass chaos.
I believe that.
I absolutely.
Well, even just the videos I posted, some of the heinous comments I get on, you know, why couldn't he have shot, you know, better? Why do you have to miss? You know,
yes.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry. But I think people like that need to be criminally charged.
Absolutely.
There's no place for that in our country.
Absolutely. We had a, what happened at my job was, we had a, she was like, worked with people, like getting them home into their houses. And she had like an important job at my job, and she wrote on a Newcastle chat that basically we all something. And I think that is, I wouldn't wish death upon my worst enemy, let alone anybody.
Well, I'll tell you, even just doing these interviews, I've had so many people, like social media and, you know, beyond, to say be careful, be real careful.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who you're going to meet.
You don't.
You know, they can tell you one thing, you show up and, you know, I don't know. That's why my wife doesn't want.
Right.
These,
You're right. Because you don't know. Like today, I was like, I don't know. I showed my location just in case. But you don't know who you're meeting. You don't know. And so, that was, there was a lot of chaos at work afterwards. And so, because everybody can have their own opinion. That's the fight for you. Have your own opinion. I don't have to dislike you. You don't have to dislike me. But hatred is never the answer.
No, it's just easy. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, from what I noticed, the reason people get so offended oftentimes is because they don't know enough about their own beliefs of where they stand to be able to defend their position. And so when somebody comes along and they say something that they can't argue with logically, they get upset. You know, they lash out because they don't know what else to do. And, you know, it's a shame. You know, if we would sit down like this more often with people, we'd find out we got a lot more in common than we think.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm a Christian. I've sat down and had conversations with Muslims, and I like those people.
It doesn't matter who you are. Like I said, it doesn't matter who you are. When I went on January 6th, I met the most diverse people that just love their country and God.
Yeah. Amen.
Okay? And besides, I have 5 children. Besides having my 5 children, that would be a day I would relive it over and over again. It was one of the best days of my life.
That's awesome.
The feeling and the energy and the air that everybody's there under one thing, you know what I mean, just to make their world better. No matter what skin color you were, what age, you were gay, if you were straight, it was everything. And look, like, because that's all I want for this world, for my children, to grow up in this world. It doesn't matter, but hatred gets you nowhere, and everything the news has shown us has been nothing. But if they could have been there for 1 second and just literally felt it. I mean, I touched the biggest flag in my whole entire life with millions of other people. Like it.
When they put it down to fix it, that was...
No, on January 6th.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, when I say that all the people that were touching at the same time was like, it was crazy. I can't even describe it. The best day of my life.
Surreal. Yeah.
Yes. I met friends I
never would have met otherwise.
Yeah. People that were, paid for all, we had to get on like the train, rail trains, and people paid for all of us.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. One of the best times of my life. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to ask you some more questions about that. But first, since we're on the Trump rally yet, and don't feel more than what you don't feel comfortable saying. I don't want to make you relive things you don't want to relive. But do you remember anything leading up to right before the shots? Do you remember hearing the shots? Do you remember how many?
I remember hearing the shots. I remember hearing the very first one when we just looked at each other. I just remember him doing the diagram.
Yes, the chart.
Yeah. I remember the chart being up there and him saying, he never does it. So that was amazing. And I was answering him, like I said in the videos, I'm answering him as he's talking. And I just remember hearing that first shot and her and I making eye contact. And at first we thought it was just a firework.
Oh, yeah.
Because your mind just doesn't automatically go there because you don't want to think like that.
They call that, what's it called, a contextual response or a conditional response. I think a conditional response, because we're conditioned to respond like that. You've heard fireworks, so automatically your brain thinks fireworks.
Yeah. So we just looked at each other, and then they started coming, and I was like, nope, hit the ground. Yeah. Like, no, hit the ground. That was not a firework. And I remember the little girl screaming, and I remember my sister sitting up, like she was down, but her head and her body was up. And I remember screaming at her, pitching her head down. And I was recording at that moment, and I was on Snapchat recording, and I was recording in color, regular color, but when I hit the ground, you know how Snapchat turns color, so my video went black and white, but you see it go black. Everybody's like, why don't you say recording? That was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Who picks up a phone and starts recording as the people being shot and they're shooting?
There were plenty that did.
Yeah, well, that's insane to me. That was the last thing. My phone could have disappeared.
If you were already recording and you got yourself down, and hey, you know what I mean?
No, I was already recording and couldn't even think like that.
And that's where I say, people are going to be affected differently as you over this. There's people that are more sensitive to stuff like this, and there's people that stand there recording like nothing's.
Yeah, they're like, why don't you keep recording? And even one of my kids was like, why don't you keep recording? I'm like, what do you mean? Bullets were flying. Like I was scared.
Yeah. And we all were.
Yeah.
And that was just. And I think of course, once people saw Trump go down, they knew what was going on.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
When I don't remember hearing Crook's shots.
No.
And I probably did. I just, like you said, it all happened so fast.
I remember.
I was watching the counter sniper team on the roof before they shot because they're cool. You're there, you watch the sniper.
Yeah.
And normally they're just up there with their binoculars scanning.
Yeah, we see them with their binoculars.
Yeah, they would take turns.
Yeah,
just scanning with their binoculars. And then all of a sudden, right? Well, it was before even that chart came up. Like, it was probably a solid almost minute, 45 seconds maybe before anything happened. I just happened to look over and I see sniper drop down and grab his right, like he's scoping something out. And I'm like, I didn't really think too much, they just, this might be what they do. I don't know because I don't watch them enough. And so I was thinking about saying something to my wife, and I never did. And then all of a sudden he shot at least 2 or 3 times. I said 4 initially, and I've had other sources that the guy I interviewed yesterday watched Crooks get shot, and he said that the sniper shot 3 times. Okay. Or at least Crooks got hit 3 times.
Okay.
So that kind of confirms. Maybe I wasn't right before, but I was close.
You were close.
But it was like shock at first. You know,
Yeah.
you didn't know what to do. You know, and
Yeah.
you guys had the direction because you saw Trump go down. You didn't. And I had a little bit of direction because I saw the sniper shooting and saw which way he was shooting. So I kind of did, okay, there's a threat that way. You know, I knew that much.
Right.
But then, you know, the crowd didn't start running, and then they did. You know, once they started moving, I was more concerned about getting run over than I was, you know.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't think it was as crazy as what a lot of active shooting events have been. Like,
Right.
And it just seems so crazy because that's the only one I've ever been involved in, thank the good Lord, you know. But it was just crazy. We started running, so you know where the concession stands are?
Yeah.
And that white building that was right there? So I started taking my wife that way just because I wasn't sure how fast everybody was going to surge and run. And so we started going that way, and all of a sudden everybody started running out of that building screaming. And so, you know, was there another shooter? Was there, you know, you didn't know.
Yeah,
you didn't know.
We hit the ground basically twice because of
People yelling that there's another shooter.
Yes.
Because that was what the people were yelling running out of that darn
So
building.
we hit the ground twice. I told you my sister was up on a chair.
Yeah.
I said, get down, and she started screaming for me, and we hit the ground again.
Well, there was no, I mean,
I don't
we
know
were
what-
in the open, so it was like, even if we hit the ground, it's like we're just going to lay there and somebody's going to walk out of the building and put bullets in us. I was like, you know, I was more just trying to see if there was another threat.
Yeah.
And you know, and then
Yeah,
try to figure out what you do then, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, we hit the ground twice. I covered up on top of chairs twice. I just throwing them on top of us.
I am so glad that you're okay.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you guys, you know, and God bless Corey, it's, you know, it's such a horrible thing. And I said this yesterday, and I might be wrong in saying this, but I kind of thank God that it was Corey and not Corey's wife, or Corey's kids, you know, because that's what Corey would have wanted.
Correct,
you know?
that's what he did. He
and
put his life on the line to protect them.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I know Jonathan said that he actually watched him fall.
One of my family members that was there, he was in line for it.
That's crazy. And you know, that thought ran through my head too. You know, after you got home and got to think about it, it was like, wonder if I saw Brooks.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if I saw Corey. Wonder
Right.
wonder if I, because I talked to so many. I mean,
People,
I'll talk to
anybody. Me too. I had the best time in line, talking to everybody. I mean, that's just the way it was. I had fun. I had pictures with the people.
I do.
So, you know, you meet people. It's amazing. You know what I mean? I loved it. I love it. And it's one of my favorite things.
Everybody I talked to said basically what you've already said. It was such a wonderful energy. It was, you know, everybody said it was like a car cruise. It was like a, you know, a family event. But that also speaks to the lack security as well.
Right.
You know, it felt just like a car cruise. You know,
Yeah.
even people, I heard people say about, you know, the cops and some of the agents, they didn't know if they were Secret Service or what they were. Because they were Homeland Security agents and stuff like that there. But it's like, you know, they said it just seemed like they were, you know, watching a high school football game.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it felt like. And
it was a lot different. It was a lot different than 4 years ago.
Well, and a lot of people will straight away to that comment say, well, he was the former president, or he was the president.
It doesn't matter.
And I agree. I completely agree.
It doesn't matter. When we have an election coming up and, you know,
things are as polarized as they are right now.
As they are, that should have never been like that.
Amen.
Ever.
Well, they, from what I was hearing, reports are saying that they wouldn't authorize it unless he was within driving distance of Washington, D.C. They, I guess, never met with the local.
Never. They never went to
never
the 9
met.
o'clock meeting. It was in the morning.
They didn't meet with them until it was too late.
Too late.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I think
People
it
try
was.
to throw other people under the bus, and we were in charge of, you know, parking and getting people in, and yeah.
So, do you have any thoughts on crooks and, you know, anything about it? About here?
I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a tinfoil hat wearing person. Do I think was a part of it? Yes.
Well, crooks, of course, he shot.
Well,
He was,
yes, but I think it went
was there
deeper
more
than just
than
him doing what he was doing.
Well,
I don't think he did that on his own. I think the whole black. The building, the funds trumps the. I don't know. Just nothing makes sense.
Well, there was some stuff that came out that it was AGR was a subsidiary of BlackRock Investments, and then on top of that, Crooks was supposedly, and it really looks like him. In
the commercial, I have the video.
Yeah.
Also, the DJT, his stock, and who bought it.
I saw that too.
You've seen that
I
too.
saw that. Yep.
So yeah, it just doesn't.
There's a lot that doesn't add up.
Just doesn't add up, and
if this stuff is true, I mean, we're really in trouble as a nation. Like that's the reality of it. So I really hope that all of the conspiracy theories are false, and that we get a transparent investigation that says, you know what, people just really didn't do their job. I really hope that that's the case. But
I don't think it's the case at all.
What was your experience outside? I know you said it was wonderful. You do live it all again. How was January 6th? Because I've never talked to anybody that was actually there. So
it was awesome. It was one of the best days of my life. He showed up late on purpose, so we wouldn't get the blame for what was going on down there.
Yeah.
And everything that the news has put on there, it's all been by. The FBI came to my house.
Oh wow.
House looking for my daughter and I. They wanted our videos. But my mom said, "You don't want to reason for you to be here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for her.
And we're lucky, you know what I mean, because of what they've done to some of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I definitely have all the pictures and videos of that day. I recorded some time talking. It's a joke what people do. I work in nursing home, a lot of older people, there's something they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this CNN or that NBC. I just have to walk away because it's very aggravating. But they think he's a racist when it's so far from the truth. And their president, that they call their president, is really the real reason. And it's improving. And so it gets very frustrating.
What are your thoughts on the white dudes for Harris? Did you hear about that?
No.
Oh yeah. So they had white women for Harris not long back, and now they did a white dudes for Harris, and I did a headline roundup on it this morning, and it's just. It's a joke. It really is. Like, why? Why are we gonna? Why? That's racist, if you ask me. Why? Because what most sources on the right, what they say. What would you think if we had a white dude for Trump? They'd probably they'd probably end up in jail.
Right. That's what bothers me about people. They want to. That's what bothers me about the whole racism thing. Like, I have biracial children. I don't have a racial bone in my body. I like your soul. I want to look into your eyes and
character,
know your character. It's who you are, how do you treat people, how you carry yourself in life. I don't care about your color. That's the least thing I care about.
Yeah.
I want to know that you're a good person. So when people call me prejudiced because they're like Trump, I think they're off the line.
Yeah. They're just. So you said it earlier.
I'm not a Bush person. I'm not a Bush person. I think because 9/11, he's a Republican. Does that make me what? But I was not a prejudiced person then. I think they're on tweets.
Very possible. And it doesn't seem that way a lot of the time. And I hate that, and this is my problem. So my mind tends to go with conspiracies too. But sometimes it's like, you really do got to watch some of the stuff you're getting fed on social media.
Absolutely, but I don't. I go down rabbit holes on social media. I go down.
Okay.
We dig deep. It's not just me. It's my mom. It's my daughter. We dig deep, and too much about 9/11
was questionable. Oh yeah, more than questionable maybe.
Yeah.
So January 6th, how close were you to the Capitol?
We weren't that far. We're in like a big area. I don't even know where we was. Where was that? I just know I was.
A lot of people.
It was a lot of people. It felt like millions of people. We were there. We went. It wasn't that far. I mean, it didn't take us that long to get there.
You didn't see any violence, any issues?
I saw people trying to get Trump supporters to rush the Capitol.
So they were actually
hey, like Antifa dressed as Trump supporters, or absolutely, I seen them trying to get them to go. And like I said, from where we were, I was right next to the I was right up there. I crossed the fence and everything. I was there.
That's awesome. That's crazy.
It's not what you're thinking though. Like, it's really not. And they had the people out there, like, they sent out gases that nobody was getting through where I was at.
Yeah.
So whatever, that was like on the whole other backside and happened way before we even got there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that happened. Yes, like they had their what are those guns called? Like the
rubber bullet guns.
Yeah, the rubber bullet guns. They were up there. They weren't letting nobody through there.
But maybe it's all.
Yeah, I would too. But I definitely was right there. And I recorded some of the guys trying to get people to say, storm the Capitol, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And some people might have fell for it, but they weren't getting far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in my experience, any Trump supporter I've ever met. Now, with this said, I do think that, there's, like, I'm more of the, I guess, type that I don't like West branded stuff, but especially when you see it on TV. It's like, come on, we need to show people that we are the grown-ups here, that we're the bigger people. I don't like the whole attacking the other side, except for attack their policies, attack the things that they're doing that's ruining the country. But don't.
I absolutely agree.
I hate.
And I hate to but once enough is enough.
I agree with that.
When enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
How much longer are we going to take the attack and being the villains and beat up and shit being burnt down and terrorized and
nothing is done to them.
And nothing happens.
Yeah.
When is enough enough?
Yeah.
When are the American people going to stand together and do something about it?
Well, I think we're doing it now. At least I hope so. Come November, I hope that a lot of people stand up and vote. Vote what they believe in.
Right.
Right. I mean, I believe that more of us should vote for Trump. I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm not going to be quiet about it.
I'm not forcing anybody, but people also need to not follow the narrative and search for themselves and think I don't want my children to go to college because it's all one way.
Well, it depends on what college.
Okay, so I'm more if they want to pick up a trade, I'm down for that.
Well, college is still good.
I raise my children to, you think for yourself, you don't follow, you be a leader, and you just don't do something because somebody else thinks it's cool. You know what I mean? So all my children think for themselves.
Good.
And this will be the first year that my two daughters get to vote.
That's awesome. They just turned 18, huh?
19. One turned 19 and one turned 20 and one turned 19. So they'll be voting, and they think for themselves, and they can look at something and discern and say, this is not for me, and I love that for them. And if that's one thing that I gave them in this world is to always think for yourselves and never follow what they say to follow, I'm happy. I know that I can send them out in the world and they're going to be okay. But I know if something doesn't change, I feel like it's time for us to have a revolutionary war. And I'll be right there in my minivan, ready to go.
Well, I really hope it don't ever have to come
I hope it doesn't come to that too,
but you never know.
Oh, God's coming. Something's coming.
I agree.
Something's coming. It cannot keep going this way. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of signs that point to shit got changed. And no one else there.
Amen. Well, and I think for the most part that starts with us.
Yeah.
It starts with you.
Yeah.
That's the talk I had yesterday with a fella. Everybody wants to blame and all this, and I think one of our biggest problems is godless.
Absolutely. They
really
took it out everywhere.
But even with God still allowed, and you still got a lot of people that need to look to you know, that need to repent seriously of their wickedness. Because a lot of the things that you hear, that you see anymore is wicked. And it's perpetuated, honestly, by Hollywood. Perpetuated by the news media. What do you mean? It's everywhere.
Hollywood definitely does it. The music does it. It all does it. Everything.
And you wonder why you got people in this country that have mental health issues.
Yeah.
Why so many school shootings are happening. And I look at pictures, you know, I talk to my, you know, my grandparents, and not even my parents, and it's like when they went to school, they could take their hunting rifle and the pickup truck with them to school.
To school.
I mean, and people didn't get shot in schools then. At least not like they do today.
Right. I think everything has meaning behind it.
Yes,
all words. Yes, I think they can be used for good or bad. So I believe the devil has in the music, words that cantations and things that absolutely. I think they're brainwashing our children.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And even, you know, brainwashing might be not a term I would use, but they're definitely ingraining within people.
Oh yeah, things that they probably would never think.
Amen. Well, and you look at it, just me. So, you know, I'm 34. I graduated high school in 2008. You know, and it wasn't that long ago, but it's long enough to where I look at the way kids are now in school, and it's like the things that they know. I mean, I'm talking elementary school that I didn't even know till I was in high school. It's like, you know, and it's the technology, but also it's parenting as well. You know, a lot of it starts, again, in our homes, how we raise our children, like you said, you know, and so I respect you a lot for what you said about raising kids, and thank you for that, because we need more kids that not just know how to think for themselves, but know how to act. Know how to go out and act right.
Right.
Act respectively.
I was never a mother that, you know, if you came to my house, knocked on my door, and told me my kid did something wrong, I'm not going to try to fight for you.
Oh yeah. Yep. No,
we're getting their ass.
We're gonna figure out what.
Okay. I'm never that mom. I'll never be that mom. I will always hold them accountable. Yeah. No. Can't do it. Can't do it. But my kids know that. If you do something wrong, that's your mistake to be learned, and you learn from it. And sometimes it may take you a couple times, and that's fine, but you got to get it.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Lessons a lot of our leaders could take up.
Absolutely.
The accountability that needs to be had is good. Well, Chelsea.
Well,
my conversation with Chelsea earlier today was eye-opening in the sense that so many of us feel that same sense of community and belonging when we go to large events with people and we're all supporting the same cause, we all think somewhat alike, we very much so get along with one another. Where this changes is when you have people that differ in their ideologies or differ in their beliefs drastically enough to where it causes conflict. This is a problem in our country. There are people with different beliefs. There are people that view things differently. But we must go about talking about these things in an honest and open way. We must have open discourse with one another and not look at somebody just because they view something differently than what we do as heinous or evil. We can view the things that they believe in or that they do as heinous or evil. And there are things that, yeah, if you break the law, if you do things that are wrong, that is heinous, that is evil. What Crooks did on July 13th was heinous. It was evil. Was there somebody working with him? Was there multiple people working with him? There are lots that think that there were. There are lots that think that there are still people out on the loose trying to succeed with a hit on Trump. There's a lot of people that think that. There's also a lot of people that just really don't know. But they look at all the evidence and the lack of transparency and wonder, what's going on? What's really going on? So that's where we're at. And I continue to get to have lovely conversations with people, although it's about something so sad and so grievous in our nation. But I get to have these wonderful conversations, and I get to see that through the tragedy, through the horror of that day, there was beauty in it as well. And there's beauty in each one of these people that I speak with. Until next time, embrace the stories that matter.